feel like I've been casting pretty much exclusively pro games over the last few weeks. What can I say, guys? I mean, it's 2020 and there's just a ton of pro SC2 being played right now. And I love it, but today we're gonna kick back, today we're gonna relax, and we're gonna figure out what this Platinum League match of Protoss versus Protoss is all about. If you have an awesome game as well that you want me to go ahead and commentate, you can submit it to replays at LowkoTV, and maybe I will make fun of your game next. I'm just saying, okay, I'm looking for the guy who goes for Forge. It doesn't really happen that I cast a PvP of a viewer-submitted game and there's not a Forge. Anyways, spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of a Nightshade, playing with the red Protoss probes. Is he gonna go for a Forge? Okay, he's not gonna do anything. Even smarter, 200 IQ, no, it's a gateway. We're looking inside of the main base of Snoopy. All right, it's Snoopy. He's already sending out that probe to the other side. Actually, oh, would you look at that on the low ground as well? There is indeed a Snoopy. I mean, I don't watch these games before casting them, obviously. Snoopy, what's that? Snoopy, what did you just build? His opponent in the top left-hand corner. Oh, he's gonna have to deal with what seems to be a cannon rush, as there's a couple of pylons already going up. Playing here with the blue Protoss probes, he goes by the name of Exterminator. Now, Exterminator has scouted what's going on. He's pulled all of the boys. He's pulled all of the boys. That is more boys than you can even surround a single pylon with. Who needs to worry when you can just lose all of your mining as it is? All right, there we go. He's going to start working on some of these photon cannons. There you go. First one will certainly not be cancelled. That one gets killed immediately. Cybernetic core does go down. Good. That's actually very critical. Couple of probes here. In the meantime, I'm working on a pylon. Another... Well, I mean, guys, come on. Just... When you get countered, right? Just stop with it. I mean, please send the boys back to mining. I mean, this is, like, all kidding aside, right? Even though Snoopy's cannon rush here is pretty poorly executed, the lost mining time here is ridiculous. Like, look at the income right now. Looks like eventually that photon cannon will also end up not getting cancelled. That probe will also end up getting killed. And just like that, we are off to a flying start. Don't tell me... Okay, I was gonna say, I thought he was gonna send all of... No, please go back to mining. Okay, I thought for a second he was gonna say... He was gonna, like, send all of those probes towards this one pylon over here, too. Luckily, I think he's working on... well, apparently it's gonna be an adept to finish off those last couple of structures. Alright, so this game, it started off with a bang. Now, would I say that Snoopy is at a significant disadvantage? Honestly, not really. I mean, he's been mining a lot more, he's been spending his money, and while obviously he didn't, like, cancel anything, the 700 or so, or 800, and I guess it's gonna be 900 here in a little bit, the 900 lost minerals over here don't really account for the lost mining time as well. So, every single worker in StarCraft 2, and I really feel like this is highly undervalued, especially by players that are, like, I guess this is Platinum League, right? So it's not like these guys are low on the ladder. But anyways, every single pro, every single SCV, every single drone in this game mines for about 0.8 or so minerals a second. Meaning that considering, like, I don't know, 10, 15-ish probes weren't mining there for, like, a couple of minutes, that's a ton of lost mining. And it's certainly, if those pylons would have been cancelled, and if, like, the photon cannons would have been cancelled at the last moment as well, and Snoopy wouldn't have lost the full cost of it, I'm pretty sure it would have been in a massive advantage, because, I mean, that was so much more lost mining time than the actual cost of the pylons and the photon cannons and all that. But anyways, we do see that Twilight Council coming up on the other side of the map. Guys, if you're a cannon rusher, right? Okay, do you know the movie Mouse Hunt? I don't know if you guys know the movie Mouse Hunt. I used to watch that a lot when I was a kid, but basically... In order to catch a mouse, you have to think like a mouse. Alright? Now, in order to catch a Protoss, in order to beat a Protoss, you've got to think like a Protoss. What do you do after the cannon rush happens? He's got to go Dark Templar, right? It's either Dark Templar or Void Race, pretty much every single time. I don't think either of them is particularly good against an opponent who's half competent, but I guess it works more often than not. Do you think he's gonna... Oh my... I'm reading him like a book. I'm reading him like a book without even having played this game. Amazing. Alright, no, he is gonna go for the Dark Shrine indeed. Gotta put a pylon on the other side of the map here as well, my man. That is a beautiful Sim City right over here, but he does now plan on going for that Dark Shrine. Now, indeed, there is a Stargate. Obviously, the Stargate can produce oracles, which is exactly what we have coming up right here. Oracles are great because they have a spell called Revelation, and Revelation is great because you can basically beat the Dark Templar just like that. Alternatively, obviously going for an Observer, always a good choice as well. But all things considered, I mean, Snoopy has a lot more economy right now. He's going to be able to start working on getting a larger army out. It kind of depends on how much he's going to lose right here to that Oracle. Exterminator, looking to exterminate some units. We'll probably scout out the Dark Shrine accidentally here. Not even assuming that there is a natural. I love it. Go in, please. Go, 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 go. You're on a timer, mate. Go. All right, good. How many workers will he get? Well, he does scout the Dark Shrine over here, which is nice. He's gonna start working on a couple of these probes at a time. Okay, finally does target fire them down. Oh, no, starts target. Oh, no, please, man. Oh, you could have gotten... Oh, God. Oh, oh. Oh. No, fly away. Fly. What do you... No, what do you... Okay, and just like that, he did kill a bunch of probes. I don't mind it. It's just that I feel like he could have gotten like twice as many. Well, maybe not twice as many, but he also certainly could have gotten the Oracle out very easily. That does still mean, though, that Snoopy is in a pretty good position right here because the economy still heavily in his favor. I think that Exterminator at this point, yeah, he assumes that it's just a one-base Protoss right now. That's an awful lot of production for a one-base Protoss. That would mean, though, if he does assume that killing these couple of Dark Templar is really all he needs to do, and there is that Observer, I think the Observer is going to make this very straightforward. And even though Exterminator didn't notice, luckily his Stalkers did. Alright, one Archon gets morphed in for absolutely no reason. Don't know what the Archon's gonna do, but, I mean, okay. I mean, with a Prism, this would be pretty cool, right? You can do some Archon juggling and all that. Don't tell me you're gonna sacrifice those. That would be a little bit sad. Anyways, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, Snoopy is now making that transition. He's still chrono boosting out workers. I really do like this. I mean, all things considered, right? Even though the Cannon Rush wasn't that great, and, you know, the Dark Templar follow-up hasn't been that great, and it's the most predictable style ever to play, I kind of like it because he does still have a very solid economy. So even though he's throwing away a lot of stuff, he also has way more income than his opponent. Exterminator, though, has realized, okay, you know what? That is not that big of an army. It's time to commit to fighting those couple of Dark Templar that morphed into Archons. I mean, there's a lot of damage that's being done because all of these units are very clumped up together, so the splash damage of those Archons gets absolutely maximized, but StarCraft 2, oftentimes just a numbers game. More stuff beats less stuff. He's going to be able to deflect that army with relative ease. Now, pylons have already been put up, of course, in different positions as well. Snoopy decided to commit to the Dark Templar, so he is committing to the Dark Templar. Even though he knows they're countered, I guess he can just try and walk by it. Although there is a photon cannon over here, there's a photon cannon over there. There's even a shield battery in the main base. I don't think he should be able to get a whole lot done. If he wants to go, though, he should go right now, because this would be the moment where there's the least chance that he's actually going to be able to defend it. Obviously, he could always recall some of those units as well. Alright, Snoopy, in the meantime, though, has decided, if my opponent is still on one base, right, which he obviously doesn't know, but if my opponent is still on one base, as long as I hold on to my two bases, I'm gonna be fine. So, since he doesn't really have a lot of production, he decides to go for actually the Observer first, and Immortal right now gets queued up as well. He needs to hold on using these photon cannons, and I'm a little bit worried because I don't think it's enough. He needs to warp in a lot more, but he keeps warping in Dark Templar on the other side of the map. I think just having a couple units at home would be very helpful, my man, but apparently it is gonna be a big push right here from Exterminator. I don't think these couple of pylons and you know, photon cannons and stuff are gonna be quite enough. No micro required at all on the side of Exterminator, just simply attack moves forward. At the same time, the DTs are now making a push as well. Good force field there, does separate them for a little while. DTs, though, they deal a lot of damage. Yeah, that photon cannon can actually be killed quite easily. Just kill the photon cannon and kill the rest of the natural. Not a bad choice whatsoever. There is that Observer up above with this main army, though, so it's not like Snoopy can just defend this by going for a couple of the DTs himself over at home as well. Eventually, though, everything here on the low ground will be killed. And once what's it called? He's just continuously warping in over here. He really banks on his one Immortal getting all the kills. All right, fair enough. Dark Shrine does fall, by the way, but I think everything here on the low ground will be killed, including the Cybernetics core. So that means no more Stalker production here for the player in blue in just a sec. There's two pylons basically powering everything here. There's also that Warp Prism, but I think he's probably dedicating some warp ins at home. At the very least, I hope so. He does have a lot of money here, Exterminator that is, so warping in literally anything would be a good choice. Instead, he's microing that one Phoenix. Does decide to recall most of those units on out of here. And even though he didn't target fire down the pylons, I do think it's the correct call. He did kill his opponent's... well, actually, you know what? He didn't kill the natural. I just realized he didn't kill the natural. Why did he not kill the natural? Whoa, Exterminator. Not so very good at exterminating now, are we? Hello? Guys? Hello? I know there's something else going on, but this is irrelevant. This will all be cleaned up. Hello? Guys? Hey, there we go. Alright, so Zealots indeed are going to be the name of the game right now because the Cybercore is gone. Prism also gone though. And it does mean I think that Snoopy should be able to hold on. And once again, even though, right, he's playing a cheesy game, even though he's opened up the big Protoss book of cheese and he's been reading the couple of different pages that are available, he has got way more economy and more stuff beats less stuff. Now that is assuming though he's going to be able to get rid of these 1500 or so minerals that he's got in the 500 gas. Just simply warping in more units here or simply producing something would not be a bad choice. I wouldn't mind seeing him get the Twilight Council upgrades, Forge upgrades, maybe something in the Robo facility. I guess he's very busy microing against those couple of Zealots. In the meantime, though, Exterminator did decide to once again send more units across the map. He does have that one observer still hanging out in his opponent's natural as well. And so far, this is gonna be the most action-packed game of Platinum League PvP that I've ever seen. This is actually really solid. I'm liking this a lot. All right, so Robotics Facility is gonna produce, oh god, well, for a little bit. Because the pylon that was powering literally everything. Except for this one right over here. This is the one power. Or the one pylon, rather. Not the one ring. The one pylon. To bind them. And in the darkness find them. There it is. Well, luckily the probes, they were looking angry. They had angry stares on their faces. So they will be able to force that stalker away. And even though Snoopy is going to chase it down for a little bit more than absolutely necessary, the natural still lives for absolutely no apparent reason. He's going to be just fine. Hey, Exterminator, what about an expo, my man? You've been not really mining a whole lot. You've been trying to, like, kill someone here early on for no apparent reason. Even though, like... No, don't start long distance. What are you... He's long distance mining. I guess he's just warping in more units here. For some reason, he decided to warp in more units and once again wants to go for the throat. Guys, I'm still kind of leaning towards Snoopy at this point. It's pretty much always the guy who cannon rushes that loses, I found. It happens a lot, okay? I guess it's primarily because, you know, it feels really good to beat someone who cannon rushes you, right? So those are usually the games that get submitted to me for me to go ahead and cast. But I'm really liking this position here for Snoopy, despite the disgusting strategies that he's playing. I mean, cannon rush into Dark Templar. It's like the oldest trick in the book. But he's got more economy. He's approaching the basics of StarCraft 2 a lot more, in the sense that he's just simply, you know, beating his opponent while making more stuff. He's now also done a very good job adding on additional production, warping in more units, and, well, getting supply blocked. I think in this position, right? In this position, if you are Snoopy, just get yourself like a Templar Archives. Or remake the Dark Shrine for all I care. I don't really mind. But just get a bunch of Archons going. I mean, Archon Immortal Zealot is such a good, stable unit composition. Like, there's never been a Protoss player who thought, oh, man, I really shouldn't have made that Archon. If only I didn't make that one Archon, I would have been fine. No, Archons are amazing. It's one of the reasons I think why it's pretty easy to drop your gas as Protoss. Sometimes if you have 1,000,001 gas, I mean, you could decide to do what Exterminator is doing here and go for a bunch of sentries that don't really serve any particular function anymore. Or you could go ahead and make some Archons that are literally some of the best units in the game. I mean, it's always good. Oh, well, he gets a bunch of force fields down, but he doesn't even have remotely enough firepower. Buddy, there's no point in fighting this right now. I mean, maybe the reinforcements can do something. You can force field all you want, but I feel like you're helping your opponent out a little bit more than yourself. Okay, eventually he is going to be able to clean this up because the reinforcements did arrive. A bit of a lousy push out, to be honest, by Snoopy. Not really achieving very much. I was hyping you up, my man. Don't go. No. Come on. Come on. You're better than that, Snoopy. Come on, dude. You're better than that, dude. Go. Okay, no. Go home. Go home. Go. No, don't. Oh, man. Is he really just gonna... No! Don't do it! It's a terrible idea. Well, to be fair, Exterminator's not really doing very much either. Did he ever... Yeah, he did make the Cybercore again. I wasn't sure if he remade the Cybercore. But obviously he already warped in sentries, so I could have known. Snoopy, though, apparently has got a bit of a death wish. He just did this exact same push against the exact same units and lost. I guess he's gonna be okay, though, because there really wasn't a whole lot of production here out of Exterminator. He also now doesn't have a lot of energy anymore on that, well, he only has 1 Phoenix right now rather than 2. Yeah, decent enough force field. Well, you know what? I'm starting to like this more and more, because there's really not that much firepower here. He's got a bunch of spellcasters, but I guess the Archons can help out a lot. Once again, we'll end up losing the Cybercore. Losing the Cybercore, very, very annoying. Once again, it means he's going to be primarily focused on Zealots right now. And you know what? Snoopy, while also securing the 3rd base on the other side of the map, he's once again going to end up losing a lot of units here, if I'm not mistaken, but it's okay. It's okay. He's got the bigger economy. He's doing a good enough job. It's alright. Reinforcing Stalkers do come up here. And it would be nice here if, like, both players were actually macroing while this is going on. Okay, so here's the thing. This is not so much true anymore in 2020, but especially back in the day when I first started doing coaching in StarCraft 2, right? One of the main things that I used to mention is don't look at the fights. Now, in 2020, compared to like the Wings of Liberty or the Heart of the Swarm era, obviously there's a lot more to micro and there's a lot more value to get out of units. But especially when I was coaching Zerg, I know Protoss has always been like the meme where it's like the F2A move race or something, right? I still think that's like completely false, but especially with Zerg, back in the day, people would go for like roach timing attacks, and what was very common is that people would look at the fight so much that they were microing like 4 or 5 roaches while simultaneously having like a couple thousand resources in the bank. So microing this couple of units, like basically what we have Snoopy doing over here, right? It's practically irrelevant because he's got 3.2k or so in the bank right now, sitting there, ready to be spent. What does he warp in? A bunch of adepts? Yeah. You got double robotics on the other side. You don't need a Stargate. Just produce out of the stuff you have and just, like, try and apply the rule of more stuff beats less stuff, okay? Oftentimes, StarCraft 2, a lot of people look at it as like unit counters and stuff, and unit counters obviously are a thing, but really, most of the time, it's all about getting more stuff. Well, you know what? One way to get more stuff is demolish your opponent's economy, warp in some more of your own units. He's still not producing, by the way. I really want to emphasize that. Snoopy's still not producing. He's making this way harder on himself than he absolutely needs to. A lot of probes do end up falling here, a couple of adepts. I think that's a good trade. And while Exterminator finally secured the expansion, he really doesn't have a lot of money. It's only 14 workers right now, going up against 38 that are on the other side of the map. Now, finally, dude, you've got the second robo. Please produce something. Why do you need another Stargate? Stop putting down the Stargates. I was hyping you up, my man. What is this? Just make more stuff. Why do you not have any stuff? You have nothing. You have nothing. There's nothing here. You've got 1 million resources in the bank. You're warping in a bunch of stalkers once again on the other side of the map. Wow, he's actually defending this because his opponent decided to recall literally everything. Okay, that could have been the end of the game right there. Why does he keep lifting? I love the lift, don't get me wrong. It's great on Immortals and stuff, but in these fights, it doesn't achieve anything. Alright, here we go. Wave number 2. Exterminating as many of those probes as you possibly can. High Templar coming in as well. Does it have Psionic Storm? It doesn't, but it does have feedback. No units to feedback though, but it does have feedback. I'm just saying. It can also throw water balloons at the opponent. Go attack. Yeah, there you go. Look, it's throwing water balloons. It's my favorite kind of thing. It really deals like no damage at all. Alright, so apparently since he already made, you know, forge units, or like forge structures, I guess. He already made himself those photon cannons. He already made Dark Templar. The next step in his plan is going Void Race, because, you know, that's what the great Protoss Book of Cheese demands. Snoopy is gonna end up losing 1,000,001 workers over at his natural as well as the 3rd base. He's also once again going in for the counterattack, which I actually quite like here, but I really would have liked to see him just produce more stuff. I really don't get why he was playing so extremely passively for like the last 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, he was pushing, obviously. He was dealing damage, but he wasn't macroing. Like, the cringe, it's starting to happen, guys. I was doing so well. Alright, target firing down that one High Templar. That's maybe the service of the High Templar, dude, to soak up a couple of those shots. making your opponent think you have Psionic Storm, but then not actually having Psionic Storm. What he does have, though, Snoopy that is a couple of those shield batteries in the mineral line. Very helpful, because eventually he should be able to defend it once again. Right now, though, as far as eco goes, the tables have sort of been turned, right? So, Snoopy did have a significant lead there earlier. I mean, he's only got 15 workers, and the same can be said for the workers on the other side of the map. The thing is, these workers over here are not really even mining very much. I mean, I was saying earlier how it's like 0.8 minerals a second, right? These probes probably mine on average more like 0.2 minerals a second or so, because they are like, I don't even know what's going on here. All right. Long distance mining is apparently going to be the next step in this plan. Snoopy once again, he's been throwing units at this wall for a while. I guess he's crossing his fingers right now, hoping his opponent doesn't have anti-air. He's hoping that his opponent doesn't have a third base, which may actually be a bigger issue. If there was a third base, this game would be over, my man. Luckily for him, though, Exterminator, not the greatest macro on the back of this. Okay. I think you just want to go there, Exterminator. I don't think you have a lot of wiggle room here. You know what? These couple of Immortals should be able to do quite a bit of damage. The Zealots, though, are soaking up a lot of those shots, right? And I think eventually this will be cleaned up once again by Exterminator. Neither player really producing anything in the meantime, because, you know, that's what we've come to expect right now. But I think Snoopy has to go for an expansion on the low ground, because long-distance mining is just not going to cut it. It's just not going to do anything. I would love it, actually, if Exterminator decided to go for a base, just, like, you know, just to make sure. We obviously know. Hey, look at that. There's one adept trapped. I think it got stuck there with the mass recall. But anyways, I would love it if you decided to go for a third base, because oftentimes when you're ahead, you should try and get more ahead, rather than trying to win the game, which he admittedly, like, he doesn't really know exactly what's going on the other side, right? Rather than trying to win the game, just try and get more ahead and try and secure the advantage and try and secure the victory, rather than pushing for you know, for an all-out assault. It's oftentimes the better call. Snoopy once again backing up towards the safety of that shield battery. Still, though, this might be a little bit too much DPS, especially if you walk out of range. You know what? Yeah, these photon cannons are helping out quite a bit. Probes actually pulled off the mineral line once again as well. A Nexus, in the meantime, is being built in the bottom left-hand corner, because once again, that's what the great Protoss Book of Cheese demands. You go Forge first, check. You go Dark Templar follow-up, check. You make a bunch of Void Rays, check. You go for a proxy expansion, check. Snoopy, he's got a copy of the book. I can write it for you guys if you want me to, but I think this about sums up most of it. You go for all of the dirty units and all of the dirty things that you can do. And then you cross your fingers, hope your opponent makes a massive error. I really still feel like if he would have macroed a little bit better, like while he was pushing across the map and he had like 1,000,000 resources, he would have just held that counterattack so easily that he could have won from there. Right now, though, I'm starting to be a little bit worried. Luckily, his opponent is trying his very best to throw this game, as an Oracle is right now coming up, even though it's not really going to do that much. Oracle, I guess it's better than just simply not producing, though, so, you know, I can forgive it. And I think that this means that the main base of the player in red is going to be gone here. The one pylon to in the darkness bind them. The one pylon to find them. It's going to be picked off as well. There's still one remaining over here powering the bottom structures over here too. I mean, it's also powering that one gateway, one stalker over there in the back. It is going to start derping around. Oracle, though, in the meantime, is going to find out about apparently the hidden base in the bottom left. Nicely done there by Exterminator. Credit where credit is due, as I think he just unpowered his entire opponent's main base. He's going to start working on the final workers. And, well, only a single probe remains. That's it. I think that's it, right? I mean, there was still a probe on the production tab. There it is. But, I mean, I've got a feeling that even though this guy is wasting all of his energy by taking the Nexus, that this is gonna be pretty much game over. Exterminator successfully figures out how to exterminate his opponent, decides to take a Nexus in the top right-hand corner. GG is called. GG, well played, is responded. Did you expo? You two? Only 2 base? Well, you just made a 3rd base. No need to lie. I guess it's fair, because pretty much all of it. Oh, micro body? What? Wait, no. wait. Exterminator, did you just brag about your micro? I mean, there were some... I'm gonna sound so mean if I finish my line of thought. I mean, there were some decent moments, okay? There were some decent moments where the micro was okay. But microing for the sake of micro is not the same as actually microing. What I mean with that is that oftentimes it's very easy to over micro in StarCraft 2. Like, for example, those Phoenix lifts that we saw a couple of times, they didn't really achieve very much. I mean, some of them did obviously on the Immortals, but just lifting for the sake of lifting and you know, microing while not macroing, it all doesn't really add up. It all doesn't really work too well. But regardless, a well-obtained victory right here by the Exterminator. Once again, if you would like me to go ahead and cast your game, there is an email address in the description of this video that you can use. Please don't go ahead and send them over to info@lowko.tv, which is where I receive like a dozen games a day. And I'll be honest with you, I pretty much delete all of those right away because... I mean, that's the first step of the process. You can submit them to replays at lowko.tv. Please don't send them to info@lowko.tv because I'm not going to end up casting those. But anyways, for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright, and I'll see you once again in the next one. Man, I really feel like I'm starting to become more and more of a jerk as time goes by. Oh well, if you decide to send me a game, please be prepared that I might be a bit of a dick.